All right, so in this video, I'm going to talk about how I actually went about starting Gini. So back in, May of 2019, when I actually was like, this is something I think is interesting and that I should work on, I started doing competitive research, looking at what other marketplaces were out there that could potentially be my competition. So you got Upwork, you got Fiverr.com, you got TaskRabbit, you got Thumbtack, and there's a bunch of other marketplaces that allow you to find consultants or people who could solve a particular problem for you. And then I was like, all right, how could we be a differentiator? What could we do that's unique? Mind you, you can still have a successful application by just copying whatever idea somebody else already had. People do it all the time. Look at Uber and Lyft. A lot of times in an industry, people are thinking about similar innovations. So in my case, I was really looking for, how could we streamline that process and how could we get more detailed? So, I really wanted to allow users to interact just by typing in a request and being detailed about it. So although it was hard to do that back in 2019, I really wanted to just build a very simple, minimum viable product user interface that would allow users to type in that request and we could get it done. We could solve that problem for them. So what I did was, after the competitive research, I went ahead and sketched out some wireframes in my notebook. Very simple, very third grade, or first grade designs, with buttons and it's a chat bot, so it's very simple. And from there, I was able to take those wireframes to a designer who could create some better wireframes and then make some high fidelity mock-ups, which means the actual colors, the actual, design that I would like the app to look like. So, once I was done, we went ahead and started coding it. Now, I had to learn a completely new platform, coding language, actually, to build this application. I came across what today is called Flutter. Back then, it was just Dart. And with Flutter, it's a cross-platform application framework, meaning instead of having to build an iOS app, an Android app, a web app, you can now build, 3 different applications in one framework, which, to all the developers out there, exactly how much time it would take to build each individual app. So from a business, entrepreneur standpoint, instead of you spending $500,000 on, a web, Android, and iOS application, you can now just spend, let's say, $100,000, even less, $50,000, $20,000 to build an application that is ready to go on multiple platforms. And from there, we coded a prototype and, started getting customer feedback. I had some crazy stories about the types of customer feedback I was going out for, meaning I was just offering hey, anything you need, possibly, just type it into this application. I want to fulfill that request for you. And, that's the beginning, that's looking back. It's completely different. The application has evolved so much in a good way. And it's really going back to how can we efficiently solve this problem for users?